Welcome to our teachings with Khenpo Tenzin on the middle way Nagarjuna. Just a quick reminder to check your phone if it's on silence. And we read the prayer on page number 5, the Four Immeasurables. May all mother sentient beings, limitless as space, have happiness and the causes of happiness. May they be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they not be separated from the happiness that is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion. May all mother sentient beings, limitless as space, have happiness and the causes of happiness. May they be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they not be separated from the happiness that is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion. May all mother sentient beings, limitless as space, have happiness and the causes of happiness. May they be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they not be separated from the happiness that is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion.
Dongwe doje shaje rezon ro jinje mado doje bonjong ba zirje lumbo tabre jibak shaje jarbe jadongwe janzar dorjen janje de lo naro da marba mala chije gambo ba pamo dreba jawan rogong gaju lama namje da joje danandana zara damje da lama laba la ye jizo zo la zan yon den jamzen ala wang Dendri donjin rebe gele zor da zo lo jizon ro war zinje labdo zor jia lam den ro war zinje labdo zor lam jwa ze war zinje labdo jwa yi jizon ja war zinje labdo zor gange denjen re war jong gamba me ba je ba me ba da me ba wa me ba ro me Tade dome donje me rubanye je den ba zobe zanje mananje dan ba de la janzar do jenjen zava la ma je kozon do je sin lam da da ge julam be de da ge tim ba dan zanje je don la bo jen de bar zanje la do zo Trasidele da my friends yeah, so I am continually explain about middle way or this Madhyamaka. First, what is the Madhyamaka? So Madhyamaka, in Sanskrit, Madhyamaka, in English, middle way, in Tibet, Uma. So Madhyamaka means actually, in literally, Madhyamaka means center. So this center is the center means actually the beside beyond age or this is beyond the extremes. Madhyamaka means free from fixation of permanent, and also Madhyamaka means free from nihilistic view, and so forth. So Madhyamaka means center. That means actually the nature state of mind, and then also Madhyamaka. When we explain Madhyamaka, we have to understand three unions. Union of two truths, union of two accumulations, and the union of two kayas. So first, Madhyamaka, generally we have two truth, relative truth and ultimate truth. In relative truth we have everything, but in ultimate truth everything is non-duality. There's not exist anything truly. But of course, when we explain about the commentaries of Madhyamaka, it explains about the ultimate truth and relative truth. But what is the middle way, or what is the Madhyamaka? At that time, we should understand the union of two truth. That means this is relative truth, that is ultimate truth. We cannot divide two things. Madhyamaka means the two truths, two things dissolve, like a water pouring into the water. So then we cannot separate them. So that's where Madhyamaka means subject. The subject, my mind is subject, you are object. So my mind and you become non-duality, become same. So it's inseparable. So at that time we should understand that. Right now there are many practitioners. Of course, different. When I look at to you, some has long hair, some has short hair, some wearing some red clothes, some wearing green or different clothes. Okay, in this case, I judge. Oh, this is her name is this, and his name is that. I labeled. That is relative truth. So then, generally we do like that. But in ultimate truth, means I pay attention to your mind. So right now your mind and my mind are same. Whether if I am horrible person or I am whatever, so my mind and your mind is same. Whether we like it or don't like it, it's nature. But fortunately, our minds and Buddha's mind, our mind and our Guru's mind are same. So we are like different cups. But we looking through outside, there are different cups. Some is big, some is small, some is the white or green or different colors. But inside of a cup is empty space. Empty space. If I break this cup, then this space become union. We cannot separate. Oh, this is my cup's space. This is your cup's space. Who can divide that? No one. This is the nature. So that's where your mind, our minds, and our Guru's mind are same. Little different. There are slight different between our Guru's mind and our mind is that our Guru, his mind wearing some kind of thick clothes. First, his mind wearing, for instance, 4 clothes. First cloth is obscuration of knowledge. That means it's very near, very close, his mind and that obscuration. After then, obscuration of afflictive emotions, for instance, angry emotion, desire, jealousy, pride, and so forth. After that, then his mind wears third clothes is obscuration of karma. If it engaged the 5x pebbles and so forth, then this is one obstacle. And then outside of there, another the obscuration is like an obscuration of imprint. So our Guru, first time our Guru's mind wear these 4 clothes. And our mind also wear these 4 clothes. But then our Guru started to remove his clothes one by one. First, second, third, fourth. So right now we are looking at his mind. Is only we can nakedly see his mind. We can see nakedly his mind means usually, of course, we can see his mind through our flesh eyes, but we are faith. We are trusting him. That means it's power of his mind. That means he purifies those obscurations. And we are wearing these clothes. But we are means there are numbers of practitioners. There are like 5 fingers. Some remove first cloth or second clothes. Some remove wearing only single clothes. Some wearing 3 clothes, something like that. So the difference between our guru and his mind and our mind is that. But that clothes are not mind. Is our clothes is our body? No, yeah. I wearing few different colors of clothes. Are they my body? Everybody know. No, these are not my body. That's why I can remove this. I can change that. I can change this. So that's where our obscurations cannot mixed our mind. Cannot mixed our mind. Sometimes we think, oh, it mixed our mind. But when we can understand our obscurations do not mix our mind, we can understand. For example, when we meditate for a little while, peacefully meditate for a little while, our mind become pure. It's like a water. If there is a water, in this container has a water, and I pull there some sand or dirt, if I shake this, and then water and this dirt mixed. But if I don't shake, just leave here for a little while, all the dirt goes down, and then the other part of water, upper part of water become clean. So that means inherently that dirt and that water arranged, mixed. Nobody can mix that. Likewise, sometimes we think, oh, milk and water are mixed. Who can separate milk tea and milk? Swan, I think it's called swan. There is one bird. He drank. If we give him milk tea, they drink only milk. They left water. They can do it. So that means in the reality, water and milk are not mixed. So likewise, our mind and those obscurations are not mixed. For that reasons, Nagarjuna found confidence that if he teach the Madhyamaka teachings, then these practitioners can understand natural state of mind, and they can remove obscurations. So that's where then Nagarjuna taught different teachings. So, but we should understand that samsara is also, in the reality, samsara is not samsara. In reality, samsara is nirvana. But right now we focus towards samsara. At that time, samsara is samsara. The reason is samsara comes from ignorance. So samsara means the form of 12 links of interdependence. 12 links of interdependence. So how should we remove 12 links of interdependence? Through practicing middle way or this Madhyamaka or other practices, we will discuss how they do. Also, actually, when we say there are interdependence, samsara is actually combined with the 12 links of interdependence. And also, if we specifically, particularly we divide it, separate something, there are different kind of interdependence. Dependent imputation. Dependent imputation means, for example, there is a thing, one object, and then we say book. So in the reality, where is book? Where is book? There is no book. So the first page is book or not? No, the first page is not book. And the letters are also not book. Color is not book. So when we establish each and every things, we cannot find a book. But if we don't research, there is a book. So that is, we say, dependent imputation. Imputation means we just put something extra things. There is a form, and then we just put extra thing. Imputation means we give another name through our thoughts and our Webers. We just say book. And then another thing we say good book, not good book, big or small book. So that's it. That's how samsaric conception or perception labels those things. And then there is also another dependent with interdependence or dependent that is exist in dependence. Exist in dependence means, for example, I say this is my right hand. This is my right hand. This is my right hand or left hand. It is related to this hand. I call this right hand because this is my left hand. But again, we research why this is my left hand because this is my right hand. It's like a children game. So sometimes we follow ignorance. We are become like a children. Actually, children are not bad, but sometimes their mind is immature or not mature. That's where sometimes the small things, they think small things are important things. For that reasons, they have some truths, something like a small car or some, and then we take this from them and they cry, something like that. So right now, everything is interdependence. And then among them, the dependent origination is very important. Then dependent origination is important and blissful. So that's where today we are going to a little bit discuss about this or dependent origination. Then we understand the samsara. What is the samsara? After we understand what is samsara, then we can understand how we escape from samsara. So that's where dependent origination. This is for almost we can say that first Thangka painting. That who lead this Thangka painting? Our Buddha, Shakyamuni Buddha. So Shakyamuni Buddha was living in India. At that time, he has many disciples. Of course, in his suttaras says that, yeah. And at that time, he has many disciples. They are kings, very, very powerful kings, like Chakravarti kings and so forth. So there is one Chakravarti king. Actually, we call it a Chakravarti king. So one king is very powerful. Chakravarti king means a very powerful king. So then he has another king friends. Since this Chakravarti king or that king is north side of India, northern direction of India, and southern direction of India, there was one king. He sent some gift for his birthday. Some gift. Of course, another king sent him is what? It's jewels, expensive, like a very great things. So that's where then that king replied same thing, sent back same thing when his birthday. Then it's no much value. It's not special. That's where he would like to make special. So then he was thinking, but then he found an idea to ask Buddha. So this king went to the Buddha and then asked the Buddha, so my friend the king from south side of India, he sent me some gift. So I'm going to send back some gift. What is the best gift? Do you have any suggestion? He asked Buddha, and then Buddha said, at that time, then Buddha said, yes, I have idea. So then Buddha told him to invite a Thangka painter. And then Buddha, he did that, and then Buddha told, you paint here this, paint there that, this. So there's 12 links of dependent origination, this Thangka painting paint. And then inside 6 realms, and so forth. So then he painted that, and then he gave that king, that Thangka gave to that king, and that king sent it to his friend in the southern India. And then that king received that Thangka, and then he just put up on the wall, and then he often look at this. And since he did not have so much obscurations, that's where he understand the meaning of this Thangka. So this Thangka taught him that impermanence. And what is the lower realms? What are the 3 lower realms? What are the 3 higher realms? What are the pure land? How should we go there? How we are secularly exist in the samsara. He understood. That's where he liberated from samsaric thinking, samsaric perception. So that's where then he liberated or freed from samsaric perception, and then he led his kingdom, his friends and his people also pay attention towards this Thangka. They all step by step freed from conceptual of samsara. And then Buddha already knows that, because Buddha has clairvoyance. Actually, clairvoyance and wisdom has little different. Buddha has wisdom, so Buddha already know that. But then Buddha heard that, and then Buddha said, "Oh, this Thangka works very well." As Rinpoche explained, this birth list helps us, same like that. Then Buddha says, this Thangka works well. Then everybody use that. My followers use that. Especially monastics should use that. So in ancient time, these Thangka, actually they draw on the door side of monasteries. In Tibet, all temples has that painting. And there was one monk should stay, actually. Nowadays, I don't know. Should stay there and need to explain to all the visitors. But monastics always enter into the temple. They see this Thangka painting, and then it's reminder there. It remains reminder there that you should remember impermanence or so precious human life. And so forth. That's where it helps, it teaches. So that's how it occurred. The 12 links of interdependence, originations, Thangka is that. That's where first it occurred from Buddha. So that's where there are many how to say, that draws many things, as I said, 6 realms and so forth. That's where the outside there's one cycle. The first one, there is a person, blind person with a cane. The eyes can't see it. So that illustrates that ignorance. So right now we all have ignorance. I'm sorry to say that. Perhaps it's possible some really Buddhas, how to say, manifestation or so forth. But according to me, so we have ignorance. So this is also the usually, if you ask me what is the cause of samsara, ignorance. The answer is ignorance. So what is the ignorance? Okay, the blind person is, in this Tanka painting, is a metaphor, example. But why they draw a blind person, which means since we give rise ignorance, we are start to go wrong way. So that's where blind person, if that person doesn't has helper, then he just go wherever. It's possible he fall into the river, he falls into the fire. Maybe it's possible he go to the house or home of tigers and so forth. So it tells us that ignorance means like that. But then how the ignorance what is the ignorance? How ignorance makes something to us? Actually, so that means ignorance, in simple way, how should we understand is in the very in these teachings are quite related to Vajrayana too. Okay, so very beginning last time, we don't have this flesh body. Our body is like a light. So that's where sometimes we say we comes from God's realm. God's realm, it's not God's realm. We are generation of gods. Sometimes says that. It has some meaning. First, our body is like a light. But this light is wisdom light. Wisdom light. But this wisdom light travels with different wind, different channels. So that's where what happens is, for instance, there is 2 rooms. One room has a very huge mirror, even whole body can see. Of course, another room also has this mirror. The 2 room has 2 mirrors. Mirror that we're looking at face or something like that. And one room has light. It turned on. But another room, there is no light. So if we enter one room, then we can see our face and the body. So we can fix the clothes or something, whatever. If we enter another room, that room does not have light. That's where mirror is almost bigger, taller than our body. But it doesn't matter. We cannot see our face in that mirror. Likewise, that wisdom light travels to some wrong channel with karmic winds. That's where it does not aware itself. That's where we say intrinsic awareness. Eventually, intrinsic awareness means itself knowing something. Knowing means clear. Itself should clear. For example, we turn the candlelight. Candlelight has two things. One is 2 responsibilities. One is candlelight remove darkness of our room. That's we know. Another responsibility of candlelight is it remove itself's darkness. That's why candle light is always light, clear. Likewise, our mind, but if candle light is connect with the wind, then it killed, it removed. It doesn't matter how big candles, but there's no light. Likewise, our mind connected with ignorance. So that's why at that time ignorance and then the awareness, intrinsic awareness becomes inseparable. If we try to separate, we cannot separate, like a milk and tea. Right now, somebody say, if you can divide this milk and tea by your hand, I give you some gift. But we can't. Likewise, this ignorance and the intrinsic awareness mixed. After that mixed, then what happened? Then this ignorance start to move, act. So that's where then this second formation, the second links of link comes from there. So that is we call formation. So at that turn, ignorance start to cultivate karma. Ignorance start to cultivate karma. What happened? For instance, I bring a throne. You know a throne? Throne, yeah? Throne. It's a very sharp one. No matter I say I have a compassion and I put the how to say, throne touch on your body, it hurts your body. It's patch, I think it hurts your body. Likewise, whatever this ignorance move this side or that side or whatever, it's become bigger or small, doesn't matter. The ignorance, it start to function, then it start to cultivate karma. So that is we call the formation. So formation means actually it's a function of ignorance. But ignorance should function someplace on the ground, some ground. It need a ground to the work. So what is that? But first, I will let me finish this formation. The image of formation, there is in this Tanka second, the first blind person. Second, there is a person make a many pots. I think it's pots, yeah, like a many pots, bigger, small, and different. That means that it's a function of the hand makes different pots. Like with the ignorance start to work, so it start to make the big karma or small karma or pretty soft karma or serious karma and so forth. So where it functions, what is the ground of work? What is the place of work? Sorry, it's consciousness. Consciousness. So that's where on this our consciousness, then ignorance works a lot. That's where then in the consciousness is like a water pond, and then it's getting cold. There is a small ice, and then there's snow, more falls many snow, and then this ice becomes thicker and thicker. So that likewise, then right now we are trying to understand some nirvana or something. It's not easy. We cannot understand easily that, because the ice of this ignorance is very thick, very strong, very thick. That's why that is not easy. So that's why this formation works on the ground of consciousness. And then because ignorance pushed or push up the formation, so then this then what kind of consciousness? Consciousness, mind, and first consciousness and mind sometimes same. In the lower schools, Vipashaka school and Strantika school, they say they are same. So anyhow, this consciousness, that consciousness start means, it start to function. Then it is looks like a crazy monkey. Crazy monkey means cannot rest on a single branch of a tree. Sometimes it goes up, sometimes it goes down, and it's always jumped, moved. It does like that. So that's where right now we understand. When we start to meditate, we start to close our eyes. What we experience? What do we experience? We are start to become busy. We are means at that time our mind start to become busy. Usually we don't know our mind is busy as a crazy monkey, but we start to meditate, especially if we are not experienced about meditation, and if we don't have good path instructions about meditation. Whenever we start to meditate, our mind start to become busy. And then what happened? Then sometimes we remember, oh, he did that, she did that, he said that, and then resentment is give rise, resentment, and then uncomfortable. Oneself stay in the single room, nobody there, but the angry emotion arises. Very angry, and then how I should reply kind of harsh words, how I can destroy, something like that. Same like then other emotions like a jealousy or so forth. So that's why then this the consciousness is like a crazy monkey. But best we are going to train to relax our consciousness. Best idea or method is meditation. So we should meditate. So first we meditate, as yesterday I mentioned, we experience lots of busy mind, but we keep diligence, make efforts, and then slowly it comes down. It is like first is like we are looking at the water, oceans, waves. If we focus towards the oceans, waves, we see oceans, waves. But we go into the ocean, and it's Lord Jigten Songkun said the 70 feet or something go under the water. Water is completely relax. Likewise, our mind is step by step become relaxed. When our mind start to become relaxed, then we start to be aware what is the nature state of our mind. And then when we be aware to understand the nature, and the understanding part is clarity. And then we experience those kind of, we will be experience some happiness. As today Rinpoche told us, so when we experience a small part of happiness at that moment, that happiness, and right now in the mundane way we think this is the highest happiness. If we compare that, others' happiness is very simple and small happiness. That's where at that time then you have enthusiasm. You arise enthusiasm, and then you enthusiastically start to meditate on there. So, and then after your mind, you experience this bliss, and your understanding level increase. At that time, still you appears different things, because a house is there, car is there, they appears, but all of them just appear to you, but everything dissolve into the emptiness of the mind. At that time, one example is in the ocean there are thousands of animals, fish, and so forth. But ocean is always relaxed. Ocean never say, "I'm tired, please fish, go away, go somewhere." Ocean never say that. Likewise, any thoughts arise, it doesn't bother. Even it's good conditions, because it support to increase our clarity. How many we experience those appearances things, our clarity increase higher and higher. And how much we could increase clarity, we can experience more bliss. So then slowly we can make a union. The union of clarity and emptiness. Union of clarity and bliss. Union of clarity and the appearances and bliss, and all of these, they become union, and then we start to attain Dharmakaya stage. So that's why the meditation is important. But then there is an important thing to know. Right now, our consciousness came from where? Past life. Our consciousness came from past life. How? First, we should go back a little bit. How our consciousness came from past life. In the past life means Bardo. Actually, right now, simply with past life means Bardo. So Bardo beings always busy. Is actually their lifespan is 49 days. Only 49 days. But if they practiced very well, for example, they meditate very well in the Madhyamaka, emptiness. If they meditate very well and they become familiar emptiness, then what happens? When we were in the Bardo, during the Bardo, they have lots of anxieties. They are so scared. Even they're scared that sometimes the very sharp light radiate, very sharp light. It's like we look at the sun, we can't look at. Likewise, it's very sharp light radiates. They're scared. They're afraid of them. Sometimes the sound, different sound occurs. They are afraid. Sometimes completely dark, nothing, there's no light or something, they're afraid. So Bardo beings always try to find a body. Anyhow, they don't like in the Bardo. But right now, today, we are on the discourse on the middle way, or this Madhyamaka. So we are talking about emptiness. So during the Bardo, you see this very sharp light which radiates towards you. Suddenly you rest on the emptiness. That means you can remove this light. Even this light, actually you can remove this light. If you try to cover your eyes, it doesn't matter. It appears to you. But best way is you meditate on emptiness. Everything is emptiness. So right now you've become familiar. At that time, this light cannot harm to you. And then you rest. It's same like right now our meditation. You are meditate on there, on the emptiness, and then come back from this meditation. And again, these lights are there, but these lights are turned into gorgeous light, not harmful lights. These lights are like a rainbow light. And then you can see your yidams. When you see yidams, at that time, right now we say your mind, yidams, and gurus are same. If you trained, practiced well, join the Bardo, you can do that. If you think that yidam is my guru, you are become enlightened. That's where we are practice right now. Our practice is not only something that need to see something right now or need to change something right now. So that's where in the Bardo, really it's greatly help us. Yeah. And also sound, a very harsh word or very the kind of uncomfortable sound we can hear. We try to run away. How much we try to run away, there is no way. It's always we can hear. So that's where right now we recite the mantra, and then we recite the mantra, and then whatever we heard, we image or visualize these sounds are mantra. That's you reciting. You recite. That's where during the Bardo, this sound turned into the mantra. So whatever you hear is mantra. If simple example is, sometimes we are going on the train or bus, and then we going in the bus. I don't know you have this experience. I had that. Sometimes we going in the bus, and then bus stopped, and then we come out of the bus. We feel still the ground is moving, something like that. We feel like that. Similarly, right now, if you become very familiar about the sounds or the mantra, in the Bardo, you heard all the sound turn into the mantra. So Bardo has not equanimity, okay? Two things. One is the mantra and a good sound, melody sound. Another sound is a terrible sound. It's a very harmful, harsh word. It's like a kill you, eat you, something like that. So it's very, very harmful. That's why right now we see some animals. They are very much related to Bardo beings. We love them. We try to save them, protect them, feed them, but they run away. See, these are proof. So that's why we should understand that when we practice, always we should practice for the sake of Bardo. If right now we practice very well, if you are a great practitioner, you don't want to go to Bardo. When your consciousness, the death process come, at that time, upper this father's drop comes down through the center channel, and the lower part, the mother's drop, there comes up. Between there and this, there is a special channel. The special channel, the consciousness and this drop of tiglet that goes there. At that time, first we become like a unconsciousness. First we become unconsciousness and wake up at the same time. If you understand, be aware, or you arise intrinsic awareness, you attain Dharmakaya. You can attain Dharmakaya. If you cannot understand that, you wake up at the same time you are nervous. Where am I? Still you have a very strong imprint in this life. First, you cannot believe that one died. One tried to talk, family people, or one try to work, try to do same like in the daily life what we do. That's where practice is extremely important. Right now we say we are scared, we are afraid. Still we can ask, we can call, we can message, send a message, ask to friend, please help me. But in the Bardo, if you are Bardo consciousness combined with the negative karma, how many times you say, please help me, please? There's no helpers. But if you are meditating very well, and if your practice is a higher level, you don't want to go to Bardo, even you directly attain Dharma in the Nirvana. And also the opposite of, if there is positive, there is a negative. So then if you are seriously engaged in non-virtue, you don't want to go to Bardo at that time. it says you one directly going in the lower realm. But I don't think anyone engaged like this serious negative karma, because we all Dharma practitioners. So for that reasons, the this right now I have consciousness. This traveled from my past life, which means Bardo life, from Bardo to coming here. So at that time, how does it come? Is that my consciousness during the Bardo, it's search where is the body, like we search guest house in the town. If you are first in time in Phoenix, first time to arrive in Phoenix, if you don't have a friend there before to the booking the room or something, and then you search where is my hotel, how expensive, something like that. So this Bardo being my, for example, past consciousness or Bardo life search the body, and then eventually, if my consciousness was combined with the merit, because previous life I practiced well. I, for example, practice generosity, keep moral discipline, and be patient. Something, these three things I practiced well, and then these two human, male and the female contact, I can find that place, that opportunity. At that time, then my consciousness enter my father's, the crown or mouth. There are two ways. And then from my father's the crown to through his then how to say the bindu or dub, and then enter in mother's womb. So that's where there is with at that time one need lots of good karma. For instance, number one, they need three conditions. Number one, these parents being together, male and female together. Another is this Bardo being should be next of there, is ready to enter there. And another important thing is this male have to have, or this male already cultivated to become my consciousness father. Otherwise, I cannot enter there. Same like my mother has not karma to become my mom, then my consciousness cannot enter there. Still there are many things, but and then my consciousness enters in mother's womb, and then it's a week. It's 7 day, first 7 day, second 7 day, third 7 day is then week 2 week. I think week 2 week it's to start to grow this body. At the same time, this consciousness has also warmness or warmness probably. It's a little bit heat, warmness. So that's where then that related with that's body, that's father's parents' job, and then start to grow. And then there's we call karmic wind. Karmic wind move. If the karmic wind doesn't move, doesn't works there, then this body cannot grow. So that's where if we remain in mother's womb 10 months or 9 months, 10 days, something, it's then step by step grow. But when we were in the mother's, our consciousness in mother's womb, at that time, what happens? The navel area, this consciousness is navel area, but my body start to grow, and I have 2 eyes, 2 ears, 2 nostrils, and so forth. But at that time, my consciousness not yet travel to these sins. We call 5 sins: eyes, ears, nose, and so forth, tongue, and so forth. So that's we call the fourth link of 12 links of interdependence, which is we call the name and form. This is the fourth, name and form. Why do we call the name and form? Actually, name or form, kind of that. So that means at that time this body has a feeling, and this this body at that time the consciousness does not travel to this consciousness does not travel to the eyes consciousness. So when we have this eye, flash eye, at that time, first we cannot see. Our eyes cannot see. Of course, ears cannot hear. As soon as we say here name and form, is that the reason we call name and form is in the formless realm they don't have form. That's where there's a name. They have a feeling, and the aggregates of feeling, aggregates of consciousness, aggregates of formation, and then what is the fourth? Formation and consciousness, formation and feeling, and what is that? What is Nduzi is I think formation. Ndushi is probably, let me see. I forget in English. The second language is not easy, yeah? Cessation. Exactly. Thank you so much. Yeah, they have that, but they don't have a form. Some says they have a form. They have a form, but their form is very subtle. So this, if we discuss about that, maybe you are a little bit boring. But if we are talking about the meditation part, there are 4 formless realm, very interesting. But today this is not related there directly. So, and then after this fifth is I think fourth, yeah. Then but there are many windows and doors, but this house doesn't have people inside of a house. Likewise, the consciousness did not travel through this way, so then that house is empty, and then over this body, they are empty because there is no house owner of the consciousness, and so they paint like that. And then that next is sin source. Sin source at that time it is how to say 6 sin source. 6 sense source. Thank you. So at that time, our source means actually this consciousness start to travel, and then they start to help to project outside. For example, ears consciousness start to listen other sound. Eyes consciousness start to see other things. And then okay, and then that 7th is the contact. The contact is then this consciousness start to contact outside of things, and then it start to experience the feeling like, oh, this the eyes consciousness sees flower, and it start to experience the happiness. And then but this is not a strong feeling, it's just start, it's not really experience, it just start. So that's where this the image is this 2 people hold each other's hand. So even they have some start to feeling, some feel something, so but they're not real experience. So that and then after next 7th is the sensation. Sensation is like a actually real experience. They real experience For example, I see some flowers, they real experience. That is real happy. Oh, I'm so happy. I met my friend. I'm so happy. Oh, I'm so happy that you have a good job, something like that. One real experience. This feeling has a feeling of happiness, feeling of suffering, and feeling of equanimity. So there are three feelings. Uh, so this feeling, the image of this feeling is actually in this Tanka painting. Their feeling is a person's eyes shot the arrow. So one person hold the arrow there. So that means that if somebody shot the arrow eyes, immediately we try to remove it. So here somebody say, "Hey, I have gold, like your body." If somebody here shot the arrow to eyes first, usually, of course, we like the gold, but first we try to remove this arrow. Likewise, we don't like suffering. So we don't like suffering, but we experience that because eyes consciousness, and then the eye and eyes, and then the object of those things connect each other. So that's where if we see our enemy and we don't like that, so that means we real experience. And then number 8, the linked is a craving. That means the one start to craving. This craving means first we love it, and then we we have a deep imprint with those things, and we are very much connect. We strongly connect. So that is like a person who drink alcohol. So one first drink alcohol little bit, and then cannot stop second time, then cannot stop third time, eventually become then drunker, something like that. So that's where the samsaric things is like that. Are you a little bit clear? So first they are start to experience something, and then non-stop, and they continuously process there, and then they experience. After experience, then we try to separate. So difficult. That's very true. For example, I'm here, we are here. So right now I'm teaching Dharma, yeah, and you love to come here to remove obscurations and improve your intrinsic awareness. So we are same, whether I teach or you listen, but our wish is same, hope is same. But during the listening teaching, sometimes it's good, sometimes not good. After we go outside of the temple, sometimes we become very normal. So that means that we we cultivated imprinting of this samsaric activities for many lives. That's where it's not easy, but we have hope, great hope, because we have Buddha nature. So that image craving is at the link is a craving. That means the person drink. It's exactly the paint. Person drink alcohol something, and then 9th is the grasping. So grasping actually come from where? Ignorance. Grasping comes from ignorance, and grasping means the image tells clearly. One person grape apple from apple tree. That means first love that, and second he pick this apple, and then pick apple is I should pick this apple. Whether if I can get, I do. If I cannot get it, doesn't matter. They don't have like that. They must need it. They must want it. So after they hold this, they never, how to say, release. It's like a crocodile. Do you know crocodile in the water ocean? In the Vajra, we have Vajra. Vajra, there's a crocodile's, how to say, painting or something. In the Vajra has the top of Vajra, there is some 4 crocodiles. The reason is, in this case, this crocodile is a representative of compassion. So that means if crocodile hold a fish or other animals, buffalo or some zebra or something, they never release. They hold very strongly. Likewise, if in this Vajra, that means if compassionate one hold all sentient beings, they never release. That means they never release in the lower realms. But in this case, the grasping also same like that. They hold something, then they never release. That means I think this is a book. How many times I listen from profound teachings? Doesn't matter. I think book. So that means I means my grasping hold. This is a book. So that means very strong, never release. So that is very true. Sensation, feels, and experience those feeling, and then start to hold, and then never release that. So there's some how we are grow in the samsara is like that. And then number 10 is becoming. Becoming is at that time we start to get some results. So if we start to rebirth in human body, because we are too much activities about the human life for the sake of human life, then we start to become human being. Or if we apply too much, actually, if we say there, if we are so much engaged anger emotion, then our next life is actually hell realm. Hell, we rebirth in the hell realm. So who said that? Milarepa said that. Whether Milarepa said the root of lower realms is anger emotion. If this is related to your life force, that means if somebody say, if you don't give rise anger emotion, I will kill you, and let them kill. Milarepa's meaning is that. So anger emotion, the root of anger emotion is hell realm. And then a root of the animal realm is ignorance. Sometimes we explain different ways in ignorance, but all ignorance are actually same. But this in the, like a majority. Otherwise, all ignorance only rebirth the animal realm. Ignorance does not become cause of hell realm. Don't think that. Actually, animal realm, Lord Jigten Sungkun said in the Buddha's single attention, Mishi, Timok Nipa Yinleche. Mishi means unknown, don't know. Timok means ignorance. The definition of ignorance is don't know. Then false, Nipa means false. This Yinleche means this is very heavy. That means if one rebirth or reborn in the animal realm, then one don't know how to cultivate virtues, and then one cultivate lots of non-virtues. That's where then one should become being in the animal realm for a long time. Some animals are reincarnation or manifestation of bodhisattvas. They particularly come to help our beings. I think most pets are like that right now. Many pets, dog, cats, birds, they help a lot to the owners. So it looks like they are really bodhisattvas. Otherwise, most of these animals have lots of suffering. They don't have freedom, but they should stay there long time. So then this image of becoming is actually their pregnant women. That means then we start to rebirth another life. So, and then 11th is the birth. That's everybody know. When we mothers give birth, there are lots of suffering. That's why we say all mother sentient beings have happiness and a cause of happiness. All mother sentient beings are free from suffering and the cause of suffering. Why we call all mother? That means mothers are unconditionally love us. Mothers carry us 9 months, 10 days, or 10 months. At that time, mothers not easy to eat some food. They don't have freedom to eat food, like if they like to drink alcohol or they don't like to drink coffee or something. For 9 months, they cannot. They try to stop for the sake of a baby. And the baby means when we enter into mother's womb, we are a very strange person. I said just like a homeless person. The only consciousness just enter into the mother's womb. And then it grow. At that time, the karmic wind move from mother's womb. At that time, mother has uncomfortable. And for many months, mother cannot sleep well. And if generally mother is a very kind of athletic or something, like to jump or run or something, when baby is here, then mother can't do it. So that's where we are so grateful for our mother. And then our teaching prayers is a mother. At that time, if we remember, even we heard the name of mother, immediately we can generate compassion. So that's where we say, if we sometimes we should look ourselves. Even we said, all mother sentient beings have happiness and a cause of happiness, but no feeling. That is little bit. Sometimes we should fix ourselves, because Yidams are here, Buddhas are here, our Guru is there. So always they are looking towards us. So when we recite, at least we are going to generate compassion towards our mother, and also our father or grandparents and so forth. So that's where also if one thing, some place has a very good conditions, they have they can go hospital, they have many helpers, but still they have at least for one day or 6 hours, 5 hours, they have lots of pain, lots of suffering, because all when they give birth, it's not easy. So we should understand that, remember this, and then we generate compassion. So we start to generate compassion from there. After then we increase our compassion, as yesterday I said, the direction of east, direction of south, direction of north, direction of the north and west, direction of west, direction of north, and then southeast, northwest, so forth, and then all mother sentient beings. When you think, may all mother sentient beings have a happy, at that time your mind provides everywhere. Your mind provides everywhere. For example, you think, I'm going to water my plants. If you have a single tree, but that tree has thousands of branches, you don't want to need the water each and every single branch. If you burn water in the root of a tree, all the branch of a tree get the water. So that's where when you generate compassion, all mother thinking beings, at that time your compassion is immeasurable compassion. When you have a compassion, Avalokiteshvara or Chinese is there. So that's for that reasons, everybody can generate compassion. Of course, you are much better than me, but today I'm here, so I try to make hope you maintain on your compassion and so forth. And then now I think it's to break. I will follow exactly the time. Okay, let us dedicate short dedication. Chancho sem cho Rinpoche ma je ba na je jor je ba nyan ba me ba yang go ne gon de me wa yo. Thank you so much. We come back 3:45, okay? Thank you.